Hey there, and welcome back to the Virtual Cafe for another coffee convo about business finances. I'm your host, Kerry Zarb, and I am joined by Kim White. We invite you to join us at our table with your favourite brew. Let's pull up our chairs and get into today's episode. Come on, let's go. It's coffee time. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Kerry.
What are we having today?
Oh, you know what? I am having I'm going to have a cold coffee, Kerry.
Why? What happened?
Because I let it sit too long.
Oh, no. We got to fix that. We'll fix that up. We're in the virtual cafe. It's time for a fresh cup.
Perfect.
So, Kim, we want to talk about something a little bit special today, and I think the topic covers it, but we do want to cover really like who we're going to talk to about our finances when we need advice, when we need to ask someone for help. Who are we going to have that conversation with?
Kerry, I'm talking to you.
Oh, well, yeah. I get that. But there's people out there that don't have a Kerry. Who are they going to talk to?
I am sorry for them because most of my life I didn't have a Kerry and I needed a Kerry.
I didn't used to have a Kerry. I wasn't this Kerry back then.
Oh, good point.
That's what I need to do, Kim. I need a time machine, and I need to take Kerry now to go back to speak to Kerry then. That would be amazing. Kind of weird, though, I think.
So, Kerry, I think you're onto something, though, because if there's someone who is already, let's say, successful in their money matters, like they're successful in what they're doing money-wise, they're not showboating, not showing off and making it look like they're financially stable, but they're actually financially stable, that would be a good place to start to find out if they had some kind of opening in their relationships where you could have them for accountability, or you could have them to talk through some things with your business.
Well, and really what we're looking for, Kim, is someone that we can trust. That let's make a bit of a checklist here together. We need to be able to trust this person, because the last thing we want to do is have a conversation with someone we know and then they tell 50 of their closest friends, especially when it comes to finances, because you know me and the underwear, and so there's trust. But then there's also knowing that whoever our sounding board is, who this person is that we're going to have these conversations with, isn't going to give us dumb advice back. So they do kind of need to know their stuff. I'm not saying they need to be an expert, but they kind of need to have a little bit of credibility in this space, which is what you've highlighted, Kim. What else? What else goes in this checklist?
Well, and Kerry, let's go back for just a second to the underwear comment. We want to make sure if we have someone who's listening for the first time, they understand what you say about that, because it's very powerful, imagery to understand that how private your finances are. So will you say that little part really quickly?
I will, Kim. So I say that your business finances are as private as your underwear, because whether it's your boxes or your receipts peeping out of that top drawer, it's got to stay sacred. It's underwear worthy finances are, in my opinion, because we don't share it with the world. You know, do you walk out to your letterbox and run into your neighbour and say, hey, guess how much I got in my bank account? Nobody does that. It's just not the norm, and it's not something. So speaking of, kind of having cards close to our chest, it's the same thing. It's as private as the underwear. We don't share those things out loud. And if you do and you're comfortable to, great, go for it. That's fine. But in general circles, we don't have those out loud conversations about our personal finance. So thank you for pulling me up on that, Kim, because I just flew straight past it.
Well, because you explained it, though, to everyone, Kerry, that even adds more to the fact that it has to be somebody you trust.
Yep.
You're doing a great job of the checklist, Kerry.
And I should have written it down because I have no idea where I was up to. I know we had trust in there.
And you had the second thing.
Yep, they're not going to give us bad advice.
That's the second thing. And was there something after that? I don't think you've said it yet.
I don't think so either. And we might just kind of come to this conclusion of what this checklist is, because I didn't come prepared. I don't have this written down, and I'm not, kind of putting this together as we speak, because we're just having a conversation about it. I think, Kim, I think about going to a family barbecue. And if I look around at family and friends that may be present at this barbecue, if I needed someone to hop into my corner and be that accountability buddy and someone that I could have these conversations with, we need to suss out the landscape.
Yeah.
We need to look at the humans that are present if we're looking for this person, and they may not be there. They may not be at the family barbecue. They may be someone that we know from another business interaction in another space. They could be someone from another business community that we hang out with. I think we can find these people in a lot of different places.
But Kerry, I think that one of the things you're highlighting is someone that we can trust to not tell on us or not tell things that they shouldn't be telling, because it's our business to tell, not theirs. I think you're talking about trusting them to have some experience. And then I think the third one is trusting them that we can confide in them. That we can confide in them in a way that if they don't know what to do to help us, maybe they know someone who can. Like, I feel like those are very much it's all the same, but different. Like, it's very important, because I know I have some friends that there would be no way I would want the advice that they would give, because they don't have any experience with doing business. They don't have experience with doing it well, and you have to look at that. I feel like that's one of the reasons that I feel so grateful to you, is because you've been in business a long time. You've gone through a lot of stuff. You know the mistakes you've made, and now you teach everybody not to make those mistakes. Those are really big deals to me. So to trust you with that stuff is easy, because we've been running together for a long time now. And I recognize that you know what you're talking about. I recognize you're trustworthy. I recognize those things in you. So, Kerry, we have something going on with us that is very special and very important. And I do consider you one of my money mates. What can somebody do that's listening to get connected to you? Because you are incredible. I'm just going to say that. And I think everybody should have the opportunity.
Well, Kim, I think I'm going to have to say that I invite everyone who tunes into these episodes, if you haven't already, I'd actually like you to go and grab Simple subscriptions. And the reason I want you to do that is because it's somewhere to start. It's completely free, so there's no charge. It's not about, paying any money at this point, because I always believe that when we start working with someone, and even if we're just looking for some advice like from these podcasts or anything you find in the online spaces, you have to take these things in slowly. And I've spoken about the bite-sized pieces before because that's my favourite, but I think it's a real thing. We need somewhere to start. And for me, I think simple subscriptions, I want people to save money. I know many of us, if not nearly all of us, have recurring expenses that we've forgotten about, and there's money going out of our accounts that we're not aware of. And I want people to save that money, but I want them to start with me on that level so that they can actually get a really small understanding of that piece of their finances first. Because finances can be, to a lot of people, huge and overwhelming, and I don't want people to feel that way. So I could chuck a million spreadsheets and a million tools and a million solutions at everyone that comes to me looking for help with their business finances. I just know it's not the answer. I want everything to be simple. So we start with the one, simple subscriptions, start there, work through that, and then come to me and say what's next if they need more help. And I think the relationships that can be built with your money mates it's kind of a similar thing. When you start talking to someone about your finances, when you've found that BizBeans bestie out there and wherever you've found them, for whatever reason you've been connected, whether they're family or friends or a previous associate, something, however you've come together, you'll start with a small conversation. You're not going to put all of your finance matters on the table in the first conversation that you have with someone, and I don't encourage anyone to do that. The only people we should feel comfortable to do that with is our tax accountant, because hopefully they're the ones that we do need to hand all the information over to, so that they've got the complete landscape and layout to get us the best return, because they're the tax professional, they're registered, they've gone to university, they've done all the things, and that's their job, and that's what we're paying them to do. But in every other space, do you run into someone at the grocery store, and start having a conversation with them and share your complete life story? You don't. You don't do that. That's not normal human behaviour. So likewise, when you have a conversation with someone in your finance space, you're going to have a little tiny conversation. It might just come up in passing. You know, someone might turn around and say, oh, my credit card got hacked, or, you know, people took money. And that can start the conversation of talking about money, because someone else has gone through something, maybe minor, maybe a little bit significant to them. They've shared that with you and you've gone, really, you know, and then bam, oh, we're talking about finances. That's how easily those conversations get started. So that's how I would like people to reach out to me, Kim. That was very long-winded. But yeah, simple subscriptions is a great place to start.
Well, I'm proud of you, Kerry, because it started from you needing the tool. You built the tool and then you shared it with us. So it's important for everybody to know that you weren't out looking for people to do it. You were literally making it for your own self. And so that, to me, speaks volumes of who you are. You're always trying to help us. So I am qualified. Let me just give you my qualifications, Kerry. I'm qualified to tell you every mistake there is to make in finances. That's my claim to fame, right?
I've got that too, Kim, because I've done all terrible things in the past and felt the pain and made bad decisions and had to correct course and bring things back into line. So I feel like I might be qualified too, Kim.
You're qualified, though, because you've changed that and you're doing amazing for you and all your clients. So let me just say that for the record.
Well, Kim, before we wrap up this conversation, do you want to share with anyone a tip to find a money mate out there? Any signs to look for?
I think the biggest sign for the, qualified advice is what I'm going to call it, is to make sure it's someone who is living proof that they're not afraid to share with you, like where they messed up, but then what they did about it. I feel like that may be a really good place to start, is listening and looking for that person that's willing to share those experiences with you, which again is scary, but
Well, and for anyone tuning in that happens to remember, we were creating a checklist. So now we've got 3 parts, Kerry's first 2 parts and the final part from Princess Kim. So that's our checklist, keeping it simple, 3-step checklist. There you go.
There you go, Kerry.
Well, thank you, Kim. Thanks for hanging out in the virtual cafe, and I will see you next week.
Thank you, Kerry.
Bye. Thanks for joining us in the virtual cafe. You can follow the show to be notified of future episodes, and if you're enjoying this podcast, we encourage you to leave a rating or personal review. Until next time, happy BizBeans to you. No beans were harmed during the production of this podcast. Information contained in this podcast should be taken as general advice only, and your personal circumstances have not been taken into account. It is recommended that you seek financial advice from a professional who is licensed to do so. If you choose to act upon the general advice shared, you do so